Hey guys, it's Rick from Black Emerald Tactical. Oh yes, and here I am in my command center, which is also known as the back garden. So, yes, this video has been a long time coming. It is, in fact, about what a lot of people have been asking for. Yes, it's the updated version of the VFC Umarex MP7A1 AEG. Oh yes, as you can remember from the last video, I did not recommend that AEG. It was very, very bad. It was just a lot of poor things, you know, and there was a lot of difficulty getting spare parts, and so in the end I just ended up avoiding it. But it kept drawing me back. It's not a very sunny day, but if ever you're going to be holding one of these, it's always worth wearing your fire protection. So it's a bit windy as well. Let's just see how it sounds, okay? Nice sound on there, ambidextrous. Ooh, nice click. You need to make sure that when you put these in, put them in firm, okay? Because otherwise they may sound like they've clicked, but they're not in, trust me. Because at least this time, at least this time, yeah, and they still use the annoying follower. So we'll discuss that another time. So here we go. Sounds like it's in. Yep, that's in. Here we go. And we're locked up again, and there we are. Okay, we get some full auto, switch to single. Okay, so a little bit iffy there, as you can see.
And here she is, our lovely little darling, the MP7A1, at a 1:1 scale, so that's very nice. As you can see with Umarex VFC, it's typical that they usually have a very nice finish to their gas blowbacks and AEGs. It's got some trades on it as well. Well, it's got the trades, I should say. So that's a very, very nice touch. Now, this part here, this is the battery compartment. I'm going to call it a shroud. You just simply remove the shroud, and there's the connector for the battery. Pop your battery on, and then stuff it back in, basically. But just make sure that you get the right batteries, because it is quite a tight compartment size. So just make sure they're going to fit first. You don't want to waste money on batteries and have them not fit. Here is the stock. So you just click this up and you can extend it out. A lot of people were complaining, oh, it's only got one setting, one stock position. No, those are noobs. They didn't test it. Yes, you've got an additional few stock positions. To simply push it back in, just hold it up and apply pressure on the back. So that's nice, you know. Not much else to say about that, really, to be honest. Okay, this part right at the back, this right by here, the charging handle, it's pretty low quality plastic, but you pull on that, it pulls back the dust cover and reveals the hop unit. Now, the hop unit is quite sensitive, so make sure you spend some time getting into the position that you want it to, because it's a bit of a pain. To push it back, you can either use the release or push the back in. I would say. Here is that lovely fire selector. Oh, it feels so lovely. I mean, take a listen to that.
Ooh, nice click.
I told you. Trigger. Yeah, there we go. Not much to say about that. It feels nice. It's snappy. It doesn't feel spongy or crunchy or anything like that, so that's nice. And right on the top, this was part of the version 2. So this is the gear. It's basically the gear release. It stops it if the gearbox locks up. You just click that in and it releases them. Now onto the pain. Yes, they're still using the magazines that they supply for this gun. You can't use aftermarket ones. It takes these specific ones, and they're an absolute nightmare, especially with the follower. Now, the idea of the follower is that once you run out of ammunition, it stops the gun firing, a bit like a recoil shock or gas blowback. It pops up, pulls it to one side, and it tells basically the gun that it's out of ammunition. Again, make sure it's completely put in first before you put it in, and make sure you get that magazine in one fellow swoop, and make sure you put it in with quite a bit of force, because otherwise it'll fall out. As you can see, the follower is up. If you were to put that back in the gun now with that follower up, you can snap it off, and that's essentially the magazine is useless. Okay, you do not want that, because the magazine can be quite expensive. There we are, the positions to attach your rails. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with any, so these are aftermarket ones. Foregrip, enough said about that really. Just click down, push in or out depending on the position you want. This suppressor is a tracer unit. It's an aftermarket one, and in order to attach it on there, you need to actually change the flash hider, which is what we have done in this case. Flash hider looks very similar on the original MP7 once it arrives. It does work with maple leaf ones, I believe, but you might want to double check it. Okay, next part. Very, very boring, but nonetheless, you're going to need it. These are the sling adapters. So what I've done is taken my old 2-point sling from Ferro Concept and just, I mean, look, it just simply goes on there like that. So you can basically turn that into a rudimentary single-point sling if you want to. Works perfectly as far as I'm concerned due to it being robust.
So there you have it. The VFC Umarex MP7A1 AEG. Yes, AEG, not an AEP. So, first of its kind really of the MP7s in an AEG format. It does have a few teething problems, but I think those are endemic of VFC Umarex itself. For example, you did see a couple of the little lockups here and there. I have seen that happen with the Scorpions. It's quite easily remediable with this one. You just kind of flick between, you know, the trigger, the fire selectors, and you've also got the gearbox release, which we did show you in the overview as well. Price, I paid about £425 for this one. That was from Land Warrior Airsoft. You can get discounts on there as well, you know, if you signed up to them or been a member, and sometimes they do send out some codes. So I think that then puts this in a bit of a sweet spot. I think if this was £450 and up, that's when I would start saying no. I would start moving more towards something like a TM recoil shock, something like that. Just simply because you're getting that extra bit of fun factor. But you know, this is a very, very nice AEG. It feels nice. It's got nice trades on it as well. There's a couple of drawbacks with it though, which were exactly the same drawbacks as I had with the first one, the version 1, and that is it still doesn't come with side rails. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Do not, and I'm telling you this now, right? Do not spend the money on VFC versions of these. Okay, they're like 25 to £30, right? It is an absolute rip-off. It's just two pieces of that. Do you know what these are? These on here are from AliExpress. You just type in G36 rails. They're exactly the same, and they fit straight onto it, okay? Full metal ones, it cost me about £6, okay? It baffles my mind that it's £425 and it still doesn't come with that, okay? So that is one negative part of it. It can be a little bit stiff on some of the more, for example, the bit which, you know, the dust cover that slides back to show you the hop unit. Hop is a little bit fiddly. Once you get the sweet spot, it is nice. It's got some good range with it, but you know, it's a little bit fiddly and a bit stiff as well. So, you know, you did also as well see how when you use one of the magazines, you need to make sure it's in. It'll sound like it's in, and then as soon as you give it a quick, because at least this time, at least this time, quick pull, it comes straight back out. I don't know if it's going to happen now, but let's have a look. Oh, and it worked then, okay? But still, point is, that could be quite frustrating. So, yeah, it is good. They still haven't made many aftermarket bits for this yet. For example, like you can get a bit of an enhanced rear sling adapter for it, which I'm still waiting to get, because the problem with the MP7s that were on the market, they weren't quite the scale. This is a 1-to-1 scale, so while that is nice, it does limit you on using other aftermarket ones from, say, KSC or things like that. Another thing as well is, if you are, I mean, I'm looking for it, and there is a Wilcox Riz front part, so you can make that sort of Navy SEAL look to your MP7. Problem is that you do tend to have to import it from South Korea, and with the way COVID's been, that could be a bit of a pain. We're still waiting for one to come over here. So, but anyway, still a nice gun. I really like it. There is one other drawback, okay? Now, this is just a personal one. With the enhancements that this has, for example, it is nice that it's got reinforced tappet plate. you know, because the other one broke pretty much immediately on film, if you remember watching the other video. The FPS is really consistent with this one, okay? It's about 300 to 305 FPS, okay? So, which is perfect for CQB, which is, you know, I mean, it's an MP7. But they do recommend that you use 7.4 lipos. Now, when you use that, it does, for me anyway, it lowers that rate of fire to the point where, yes, you're not going to be burning through BBs, but come on, it's an MP7. You want to hear that thing go. Do you know what I mean? So the 11.1, I believe this will take an 11.1. I would not want to try it though, not after the last one. The version 1 was made for an 11.1 and then destroyed itself. This one is, they made it for 7.4, but I believe it'll take an 11.1, but the websites do recommend you 7.4, so I'm just going to use a 7.4 because getting spare parts for these are a nightmare. If you still own a version 1 and you want to order the spare parts from the version 2 to fix your version 1, you can't. Okay, they're not backwards compatible, so I mean, you know, it's VFC. They just suck for doing stuff like that. Okay, so just be warned about that. Battery compartment size, it's not big. I'm not sure if it's going to take a Titan battery. However, I did notice, and give me 1 second, I just need to put the bad boy down. So let's get my old lipo bag out. They recommend using this tiny little Nuprol 7.4, okay? It was a bit of a tight squeeze, however, in my foolhardiness, I did order some spare batteries because these were out of stock, so I ordered the VAPEX 1100 mAh ones. Now these are a fatter one, so I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. You can see that, yep. See, it's a slightly thicker, a little bit taller, I'd say as well. Lengthwise, maybe a few millimeter like extra on the end. They do fit. A little bit of a tight squeeze, but they hold them firmly, so they do fit. So if you're worried about batteries, you can just go and buy the VAPEX ones. They will fit you as well. Okay. I want to try and get some sizes to see whether or not if you can get the new Titan batteries, which they've just released, which are in a smaller format like this. I'm pretty sure that's going to fit as well. Anyway, other than that, I don't really have much else to tell you. I mean, fires well, it's accurate. It's not the version 1. It's good. I like it. Bit expensive, but it fills that niche where you don't want to be using an MP7, a gas MP7 for example, and you don't want a Scorpion. You want to stick with an AEG. If you want a recall one, there's plenty of gas options for this one out there. Anyway, I hope that was kind of informative. It's not really a review, it's just kind of my opinions really on where I stand with the same make as I previously had, which basically did ate itself. So anyway, like and subscribe. We are a growing channel. We are back, I guess, after a long hiatus. The team basically went underground because of COVID. So, but that's how it is. I mean, hey, it's a lovely CQB. So